The number 20 has a significance in Manchester United's history. It is the number of titles the club has won. Till this year, it was a record. Earlier this year, United's greatest rivals, Liverpool, equaled that record. And in May this year, United celebrated an unwanted 20-year milestone, the Glazer family's ownership. These 2 decades have been marked by financial exploitation, false promises, and an ever-growing disconnect between the club and its fans. The worst part is that this relationship was not even chosen by the fans. It was forced upon them by circumstances, even as they protested loudly. For instance, the first time the Glazers visited the club in June 2005, hundreds of angry United fans were outside shouting slogans like "Die Glazer, die." A few even clashed with the police. Even more traumatically for United fans, this relationship was endorsed by a father figure, Sir Alex Ferguson. The greatest manager of all time once told United fans to go and support Chelsea if they did not like how United was being run. He also once said that real fans could see that Glazer ownership was good for the club. Indeed, Ferguson's success had a big part in hiding the issues of the ownership in the early years. However, within a few days of Ferguson's real fans court, Old Trafford, which was hosting football during the 2012 London Olympics, exposed the legendary manager's lie. The football fans who were watching Spain versus Morocco were drenched when the roof of the Theatre of Dreams sprung leaks. That means that the stadium had stopped being world class within 7 years of the Glazers' takeover. Incidentally, the leaks continue to this day and have at times been complemented by things such as leaking toilets. In 2024, further adding to the aura of Old Trafford was a mice infestation. Ferguson was not the only club legend who backed the Glazers. Sir Bobby Charlton apologized to them for the hostility of the fans and was once caught on camera giving a young United fan a stern talking to for his rudeness towards the new owners. Chief Executive David Gill, who was initially opposed to the takeover, later smoothed the transition and was reportedly rewarded with a 100% salary hike. The club's financial troubles now are well documented, especially after their loss in the recent Europa League Final. What is possibly not as well known, at least among younger fans, is how this came to be. In simple terms, the Glazers' takeover of United was primarily financed through loans secured against the club's assets. This plunged a club that had been debt-free since 1930 into over 500 million of debt. Over the years, United has wasted more than 700 million pounds to pay the interest on this Glazer debt. The Glazers are also estimated to have extracted around 1 billion from United in annual dividends and share sales. Despite all this, if the football side had been managed well, all of this might have been forgivable. But what is being witnessed is an infuriating mix of greed and incompetence. After Ferguson and Gill left in 2013, there were no football men in the top leadership of the club. This meant that men like Ed Woodward, who admittedly maximized the club's earnings, proceeded to waste more than 1 billion of the club's money. This is the key difference between United and other big spenders like Manchester City, Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. The owners did not pump any money into United, they just kept taking, and their football illiterate minions like Woodward spent the club's money irresponsibly. This and the debt situation means that the club now owe in excess of 1 billion pounds. The mechanism that the Glazers used to take over United, known as a leveraged buyout, is now banned. But there was nobody to prevent it in 2005. According to a report by The Guardian, the Labour government, deep in election mode, refused to scrutinize the takeover despite the urging of many of its own MPs. And diligent reporting of the takeover was counterbalanced by journalists who were happy to stick to the Glazer line. Indeed, the only aspect of the club that continues to perform today is its PR machinery, which has largely been successful in spinning the global fan base into a state of deceit stupor. Of course, many fans could not be fooled. Right at the start, a particularly angry group broke away and formed FC United of Manchester, which now fights the good fight in the 7th division. But back at the elite level, which is where the United brand still operates, the PR spin has been effective and brutally deceptive. One early example is the case of Wayne Rooney wanting to leave United for Chelsea. The real reason, as Rooney would explain later, was the club's lack of ambition. But United spin meisters were successful in labeling Rooney a greedy mercenary. Of course, he became an integral part of the plans, again, once Ferguson convinced him to stay. The club will need to rely on its PR machinery more than ever now, because the 2024-25 season has turned out to be an unmitigated disaster. But it will become tougher as more and more fans are starting to call out the toxicity of the club's relationship with them. For instance, the buy-in by the Jim Ratcliffe regime, the minority ownership, was once looked upon with hope. It is now the butt of jokes. The billionaire Brit has saved money through measures like the termination of close to 500 employees. He has stopped free meals for the staff at the stadium. He even cancelled the Christmas party for the staff. Most recently, the club did not offer tickets for the employees to the Europa League Final, but now they may be grateful for that. But on the whole, there have been many setbacks. For instance, an attempted PR spin, a hastily put out stadium plan did not go down well, with many commenting that the design of the stadium looked like a circus tent and that it was apt for the clowns of United. After failing to win the Europa League Final, United have become the bottom half team with no European football, which needs to massively step up its game in the transfer market to stay relevant. It is almost like a toxic relationship, and you cannot even walk out of the association with an entity like Manchester United, because the vows you made were not to another person but to yourself. If you even consider stopping this one-sided caring for the club, 1958 will spring to mind, quickly followed by 1999. The Busby Babes and Fergie's fledglings will flash before your eyes. There can be no escape, at least for the vast majority of United fans. And there will be no reprieve from the Glazers. The only faint hope is of Ratcliffe and his team of football men turning things around on the pitch. The transfers have been encouraging so far. All the buys of the 2024-25 season look capable of contributing, at least in the future. The first signing of the new season is reportedly Matthias Cunha, who could be highly impactful. But a massive rebuild is unlikely owing to the financial constraints. So the best fans can hope for in the new season is some more shrewd moves in the market and the team that can at least get into the top half of the Premier League. It is important to remember this for the fans to stay mentally healthy. Of course, the club will lie. They will say that the club will challenge for Champions League qualification, and on failing, they will blame the manager. After all, why not? This has been a tried and tested method at United since 2013. It is vital that the fans who are the victims trapped in this relationship stop buying into this kind of spin. Ultimately, even if United turn things around, which again is easier said than done because the 15 or so teams in the Premier League that are better than United are not going to just stand still. But even if they turn things around, the Glazer majority ownership is always going to treat the club like a cash cow. So ultimately, the only real solution is the most obvious one: get the Glazers out of United.